All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack the completely unseen mechanics of career advancement. You know that person, right? The one who, I don't know, seemingly gets promoted out of nowhere, or the colleague who always somehow gets the best projects handed to them on a silver platter? Well, today we're looking at some absolutely fascinating source material that completely redefines how we should be building our professional lives so we can become that person. So I gotta ask, what actually builds a career? If you were to ask most people on the street, they'd probably give you a pretty highly transactional answer. They'd say it's all about collecting shiny new titles like Pokemon cards, or checking off this massive list of tasks, or maybe just logging endless grueling hours at a desk. But is that really it? Is a career literally just a resume of completed transactions? Well, the source material we're exploring today challenges that traditional view head-on. Okay, think of your professional life as an iceberg. The deliverables, the metrics, the hours you log, all of that, those are just the things visible above the waterline. But the true drivers of your success, those massive forces lying beneath the surface, are reputation and influence. These are the unseen mechanics of career growth. If you're only focusing on the surface level stuff, you're honestly missing the entire foundation of what keeps your career afloat. Section 1. The illusion of titles. The source text states this perfectly, and I want to read it exactly as written. A title may introduce your position. Notice the super specific wording there. It doesn't say a title solidifies your power. It doesn't say a title guarantees respect. It merely introduces your position. It's really nothing more than a name tag at a networking event. It is just a starting point. So a position is just your formal role. It's merely the surface-level introduction to your professional identity. Now, we often celebrate getting a new title or a promotion as if we've, finally crossed this ultimate finish line. But in reality, that title only serves to get you in the room. Once you're actually sitting at the table, its job is entirely done. Boom, over. Everything that happens next relies on entirely different mechanics. Section 2. Perception drives true influence. And this brilliantly illustrates a dichotomy that shifts us right from the tangible to the intangible. Your title introduces your position and, like we said, simply opens the door. But perception decides your influence. While titles might spark a conversation, it is absolutely perception that dictates the actual weight your words hold within that conversation. Which brings us to a direct, incredibly powerful quote from the source material. Your perception decides how much influence that position carries. I want you to just reflect on that for a second. We've all seen the archetype of the brilliant jerk, right? Someone with a really high title, maybe a VP or a director, but absolutely zero influence because literally no one respects them. Conversely, think about the glue guy or the glue gal on your team. They might have a totally modest title, but they effectively run the entire operation because everyone implicitly trusts their judgment. That is perception in action. Let's break down these mechanics a bit more. Titles are just the introduction. Perception acts as your true currency in the workplace. You really have to earn it, and you definitely have to spend it wisely. Your influence is entirely dictated by that perception, completely independent of your official position. Power does not automatically flow down an organizational chart, guys. It flows toward trust and positive perception. Section 3. The experience factor. Now, if we redefine the entire concept of a career using the exact parameters of the text, we get this. A career is built not only by what you do, but by what people repeatedly experience when they work with you. This is a massive paradigm shift. We're moving completely away from mere task output and looking squarely at the actual human experience. Here is the pivotal quote verbatim. Listen closely to this one. In the end, careers are built not only by what you do, but by what people repeatedly experience when they work with you. The secret engine of career building is hidden right there in the word repeatedly. It's not about one grand gesture or a single highly visible project. It is all about the consistency of the experience you provide to others over time. So the crucial point here is the contrast between transaction and relation. What you do, your outputs, your code, your spreadsheets, your sales numbers, that's purely transactional. But what people repeatedly experience, are you calm under pressure? Do you listen? Do you lift others up when a terrifying deadline is looming over everyone? That is relational. And the text argues that this relational impact is the true architect of your career. Let's map this out so we can clearly see how these isolated interactions compound over time. At month 1, your title just introduces you. You're the new manager. But by month 6, your coworkers have repeatedly experienced your character under stress. They've seen exactly how you handle challenges and whether you actually take accountability. By year 1, those repeated experiences have calcified into a rock-solid perception. You aren't just the manager anymore, you're the manager we trust. And by year 3, that deeply established perception dictates your ultimate influence within the entire organization. Section 4. Opportunities begin finding you. The text gives us this incredible, exciting promise. Speaking of your reputation and your influence, it says, but once both are established, opportunities begin finding you. This is it. This is the magical shift from outbound striving, constantly hunting for the next promotion, desperately pitching yourself, trying to force open heavy doors, to inbound magnetism. It is the absolute payoff of doing all that invisible work. Let's tie this whole thing together into a 4-step evolution. It starts simply enough. Step 1, you introduced your position. Step 2 requires real patience and empathy. You foster positive, repeated experiences for everyone around you. Step 3 is where the magic really happens. That consistency establishes your strong perception, which builds your true influence. And finally, step 4, you become a magnet. People actually want to work with you, and they bring incredible opportunities directly to your doorstep. I really want to emphasize why this matters so much. The shift from outbound effort to inbound opportunity is basically the holy grail of a successful professional life. When your influence and the positive experience of working with you are firmly established in the minds of others, you no longer have to chase success with a proverbial butterfly net. Success, in the form of projects, partnerships, and promotions, actively seeks you out. Why? Because people deeply trust the experience you provide. So here is your architect's blueprint to take with you today. First, remember that titles only offer an introduction. They are just the start. Second, it's perception that dictates your actual influence in literally any room you walk into. Third, your career ultimately relies on the repeated human experiences you provide to others. And finally, when you build that super solid foundation of perception and influence, opportunities will begin attracting to you automatically. As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a somewhat provocative thought. Honestly, it's the most important question you can ask yourself as you build your professional legacy. Forget your title. Seriously, forget your job description. What do people experience when they work with you? Answering that honestly is the absolute first step to truly designing your career.